Yeah, we call this place here the cookhouse. It's a cookhouse right here. Getting up on these steps, they say originally located in the Macklin Road in Marietta, Georgia. This log cabin was the home of the grounds of the root house, located here in Georgia. And the grounds itself is actually William Root House resident. So what I'm showcasing here is that some of the amenity is still here. You still have this big tree here that maybe William Root sit under this tree here and observe this beautiful place here called the Root House. So I'm showcasing this ground here of the Root House, and then I'm going to move up into what we call the smokehouse, which is in the back there. And then the other house is going to be the Privacy House, and then William Root House itself is over there. So here I'm going to showcase there. What you're seeing here is the smokehouse and a gazebo. You got a gazebo here. Nice gazebo and a beautiful garden here on the Root House. So it's quite a place to come and visit, quite a place to come and see, because it's unique. This is called the cabin or the kitchen. Most kitchen in doing a historical perspective was outdoor. People also prepare the meal out here, and this one is called a cookhouse. I'm gonna draw my camera closer to see what a cookhouse looked like on the inside. So here we go, inside the cookhouse. This is what the cookhouse looked like back in the 1800s. I could imagine right in here, food was being prepared by, and I don't know if I can walk back there, but anyway, I gotta come back here. This is what we call the cookhouse. Fireplace, dining room, brick fireplace, all this amenity that actually transpired here. The staple here was potato, cornmeal. So this place is unique because it's the cookhouse of Mr. William Root House here back in the 1800s. And you can come in here, they have the lamps and everything in here. You can come in here and see all this beauty here in the cookhouse. Depiction of the various type of meal here that was prepared by the African Americans for the palate of Mr. Root and his family here on these grounds. You can see it has all the different amenity you need to cook. You have the fire burning stove in the back. You have the table where food is prepared. You have potato, and then you have all the pots and the pan, the grinding wheel. You have all those different things. You have the what we call the iron goose. I think our heads to used to actually iron the clothes. So we see here, all of this has a depiction of Mr. William Root house here in Georgia. Mr. William Root, I would say, had a good life. He lived good because everything was prepared for him by the hands of someone else who didn't get paid. So this is what we call the Root house, cookhouse. And I'm gonna move to the main house somewhere out there. And I'm gonna find myself entering the cookhouse here on the grounds of the Root house. This is on the steps of the Root house, cookhouse. I've been inside earlier, so I know what all the amenity was in there. And across there's a gazebo of the family. This is the main house right here, and I'm not sure if it's open, but I'm gonna spin my camera around to the grounds. I'm not sure what kind of flowers those are, but it caught my eyes here. I'm on a quest for, they have some beautiful garden here in this place. So I'm gonna collectively come around here and shoot some kind of a picture of what their garden had looked like here after I finish taking a picture of all the other surrounding area. So I'm gonna move my camera around from the cookhouse to the pit house, and then Mr. Root gazebo, where I could imagine he hang out there for a while. And I'm gonna sit on his gazebo for a little bit to say I've been here, sitting on Mr. Root gazebo. Mr. Root may not have liked it, but I'm sitting in his gazebo here that he built. Not he built it, but my ancestors back in America built these structures here on the grounds of Root House. So this is his social gazebo that showcased the Marietta skyline. All right. Then I'm gonna switch my camera back around to the Root House itself. I'm gonna walk up on these steps that depict the Root House itself, and I don't know, is it open? Is it open? Okay. All right, so actually this is his main residence here, of this gentleman who had a fat life, and he was a druggist. So this is his house right here, and I'm gonna showcase his garden, show you how this acreage wasn't that big, but it was in a prestigious area called Marietta. So being a druggist, you know, he controlled a lot of money, Mr. Root. This is what his garden looked like right there. Beautiful garden. And I'm gonna put myself in this garden too, because I want to say I was part of Mr. Root experience, because I really, in reality, he didn't cultivate his garden. This garden was cultivated by another enslaved person on these grounds. So this is the Root House garden here in Georgia. You got to come out and see it, because it has a lot of fascinating perspective of the history of Georgia. If you want to understand your history, you have to come out and retrace history. And I'm doing exactly that today. I'm retracing history in a place called Marietta, Georgia. And Marietta, Georgia, we had a famous druggist called Mr. Root, and this is where he lived. right here in this house here in Georgia. This is the kitchen, backside of the kitchen, and I'm gonna try to capture that too. This Mr. Root kitchen, looking out to the garden section, and it's interesting because, like I said, his house was located on the corner of BC Highway here, and I guess he had to be in the right location because he was a druggist. So this is where all the people was that they come to him to get some of that medicine, or drug we call it back then. They call it drug today, but it was. These actually the grounds of his house here. This is a big tree. We still have what we call barrels, the similar furniture is there, and we have all of this stuff here on this property called the Root House. So it's been a festive day going around, documenting most of the historical perspective of Georgia, history, and I end up right here this afternoon at a place called the Root House, who was a druggist and lived here in Marietta. They also had a well here. I didn't showcase that well. It's a well right there, located on these grounds too. This is the main house. From this angle here, what you can hear in the distance is that train that still come across these areas. William Root, smokehouse, is the William Root house, smokehouse, privacy, and what else? The cabin. So I got to take a picture of that right here at the William Root house. This is interesting because I won't believe that Mr. Root house had the original barrel, rum barrel, they call it in the Virgin Islands. These are actually rum barrel that that transport their molasses from the tropics to the what we call the colonies, not the colonies, but the different countries, England, Scotland, whatever. These were the rum barrel. Inside of these here, these actually have what we call brick. So bricks also came across to build some of these houses here in the New World, or doing the colonized area. So this is a nice depiction of the Root house itself here in Georgia.
I've never been here.
Oh, so you're in quest to understand the history too?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know you have a pit to go in there.
That's okay, she's just right here.
Okay, all right, I'll go in there. I'll see it. Yeah. Okay, all right. This is the Root house. Compound of William Root house here in Georgia. Compound of William Root house here in Georgia. This place here, the market's place here, on the crest of the marketplace. The BC Highway here in Georgia. This is the main drag here, showcasing the railroad that goes through Marietta. It's a railroad that you supply all the humidity to this particular city. So this is a city on the railroad called Marietta, Georgia. Every so often train comes through here, but it's a popular place for a train to come through here in Georgia. It's called the Marietta line. Turn my camera around opposite way, and you will see that the railroad plays a significant part in the development of Georgia commodity here. So I'm gonna walk away from the camera about this distance and showcase Marietta landmark. Call this place had the Marietta Station, and it's unique because that's where most of the train comes through here. That bring freight train and it bring all the different train and commodity into Marietta. It's still the same as it was back then, but it's a different commodity that comes through here in Marietta, Georgia. This is actually Marietta Boardwalk I'm on today. Across the street is that historical park called Marietta Park, but I'm showcasing the boardwalk today in Marietta. My quest for historical perspective. These streets are still the same. They're still here today. There's nothing new about them, but they've been restored as far as permanency. Marietta was, like I said earlier, was a centerpiece of tourism for the slave aristocrats who actually reside in southern Georgia. Across the street is the Marietta Park. There's always something happening there, but it's a sky-high sunlight today, so I'm gonna just showcase what the park itself looked like from this perspective. I'm on the crest of the city itself. That's been called Marietta Square, and I'm not gonna go in there today, but it's Marietta Square here from this perspective. Down here is the city itself. So I'm gonna take a shot of what these historical places look like here in Marietta. Marietta is quite a different place, but it's a beautiful place to come and shoot video. So I have some beautiful ladies around here. I don't know where they're from, but they're beautiful. So I can't help but take them here in Marietta, Georgia. In Marietta, one of the main squares right here in Marietta, Georgia. This is what we call the entrance to Marietta. It's called West Park Street here in Marietta. It's the main entrance where you can find all the activity in there. And I have a lot of video of that, so I'm not gonna waste my time going in there, but across the street is MPC. I'm not sure what I mean, but it's a beautiful patriotic town to come and shoot some pictures here. So I'm gonna take a picture of that area and then head out to the historical perspective of Marietta. This is it. Marietta, Georgia, on the square. Itself is where a lot of people come and eat. They eat here because it's fascinating. So I'm showcasing it today. I got some called a theater. So this is Marietta, beautiful square that I'm showcasing today across the street. It's called the Willock Avenue here. I think that's the avenue that most of the aristocrats have their house on called Willock Avenue here in Marietta, Georgia. So it's been a pleasant day showcasing historical perspective of Marietta. And so as I move out to another location, I can't help but be satisfied. There's something unique about that emblem there that I have to find in Marietta. But here's some of the streets that showcase Marietta. So I'm gonna find out what that emblem means. Has an artistic way of it, strange but beautiful. Marietta Street. Strange but beautiful. I love it. Strange but beautiful. Marietta City. Marietta City. Strange but beautiful. In Marietta City. Strange but beautiful here in Marietta City. This is a depiction of the train that comes through here in Marietta. Fine mirror on the wall. You gotta come and take a picture of it, or you gotta participate in it. But this is the train that comes through Marietta. Switch my camera around. So this is the oh shit, my keys in my lap.
I just love that color.
Huh?
And the color, the shapes.
The shape and the color.
The shape and the color.
Wow.
I mean,
What's the name of the building?
That's the red hair still on the square.
The who?
The red hair still on the square.
Oh, a restaurant.
Yeah, restaurant.
Still on the square.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're a photographer?
Photographer, videographer, all those things.
Yeah.
So I capture small. My storyline to this: the quest to understand historical Marietta.
Oh, I love it.
You understand?
Yeah.
And historical Marietta has a different attribute outside of the city.
Yeah.
You also have those particular distinctive
Yes.
areas.
Yes.
So you have to understand them, like the root house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You understand the Methodist compound, which is a
Yeah.
primitive church.
Yeah.
And you have to understand the Zion Heritage Church, the
yeah.
black church up there, right? And you have to understand the meaning behind the square. You know the meaning behind the square, right? Well, the meaning behind the square here in Marietta was that back in the 1800s, this was considered one of the tourist attractions because of its climate.
I did know that.
Yeah, so all of
Yeah.
the plantation owners, right,
Yeah.
who looking for vacation, aristocrat, used to come to Marietta to vacation because southern Georgia is simmering hot.
Yeah.
So this is where they come to cool off. So most of the rich people, besides Washington, Georgia, used to congregate in Marietta to flaunt their
Wow.
wealth. And here was what we call New York Stock Exchange.
No way.
Here's how it was in New York Stock Exchange.
Wow.
They used to bring the enslaved Africans and auction them off right there. Yeah. And that, you know where the bandstand is?
Yeah.
That's where they used to auction them off. So all the plantation owners used to come up here and bid, and then take them south or take them wherever to take them. Because really, I'm in quest for the history, right? And so used to take, yeah, I used to take them south, right? And they never would be able to see where it came from again.
Right.
But the concept here is that, then the Union came in and occupied it in 1864.
Yeah.
And then it burned it, but it didn't burn. There's one house that didn't burn. It's called the Root House because he was a what? He was
A sympathizer.
a guy with a medicine.
Oh my goodness.
He was a druggist.
That's
So he
amazing.
fled, right?
Wow.
And he went to Washington, Georgia.
Wow.
And they occupied his house as a hospital. and they didn't destroy it. So when the Civil War ended, he came back.
Wow.
Yeah, he came back to his home. But
Wow.
it has a lot of when you see it, right? You have to understand how it came. Here's the word I use, right?
How
Sometimes
it came
people,
about.
I use the word here, inception.
Yeah.
The inception of the environment.
Yeah.
And once you understand the inception of the environment, then you understand how human beings react and how to behave.
Yeah.
Because most of the people who actually are fourth and third generation of the wealth
Right.
won't act a certain way. In other words, they will say in a sense that, oh, what's wrong with him? Or what's wrong with them? How come they're not achieving? But what they don't understand, what they don't want to admit though, right?
Yeah.
Is that they came into the old, not the Silicon Valley money, but they came into the old money.
Full money.
The old money so they could live, you know, I mean, I'm not saying the people who pull themselves by the bootstrap. I'm not talking about those people.
No,
I'm talking about the old money. They're the one that'll give you this, oh, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm a historian, so I don't want to I don't want to get into that crap. That's the Kennesaw Welcome City Museum. Welcome City here, Center here in Marietta. I guess, like I said, I'm in a quest for understanding the history of Marietta. And this here is what we call the museum, a welcome center of Kennesaw. And this is the Marietta History Center right here in the background there. So I'm gonna turn my camera around here, right there. And I'm gonna see if I can capture the house itself without me getting run over by a locomotive. Anyway, this is the Marietta History Center here in Georgia. It's a nice place to come and understand the history of Georgia. We call this place Kennesaw Marietta History Center, Kennesaw House. Beautiful area located here in Marietta. And the Kennesaw House is a depiction of Marietta heyday. And you can't help yourself but to take a picture of that itself. So I'm gonna take my camera and shoot over there and take a picture of that. Yeah, this is where most of the aristocrats live in Marietta. It's called Willock Avenue. It's Willock Avenue. It's where most of the aristocrats live. Willock Avenue is where most of the aristocrats live in Marietta, Georgia. These was the wealthy landowners and slave holders who occupied this mansion here in this particular city. You see these are great mansions, and this is the church that most of them attend to. It's called the United Methodist Church here in Marietta. So this church here is synonymous with the citizen who came here to Marietta and established the church. So this is it right here. This is a grand Methodist church that was built for most of the slave owners to go to here off of Willock Avenue in Marietta, Georgia. Most of their parishioners was wealthy slave owners and wealthy landowners. So most of them went to this particular church here and they live across the street. So you can see the symbol of how the whole system was designed from the church in, and then not the church, but the church and the courthouse was actually what keep things intact in these controlled society. Across the street, so we call the Willock House. the Willock Mansion. It's across the street here. And you will see the grand house of it right here on Willock Street, where most of these people had a good life. Right here on Willock Street, the fancy home, and I'm not really knocking them, but they live good and happy. And these big houses, Willock Street, where the aristocrats live, landowners, and what we call the slave owners and the merchants. So the bill was wealthy and they built these big houses, and the slave themselves is who actually built them, not them. Georgia historical perspective. This what we have here is a garden that was actually designed by the citizen of Georgia to actually help you understand what type of plants was grown here by the Native American. It's what we call a flower garden here in this particular area. And so this is where my story began. It began in this flower garden depicting how the Native American may have cultivated the various plants and flowers and plants for medicine during the occupation of this area. They call themselves the Creek and the Cherokee Indian. Some of the grounds that were occupied by some of their this was a plantation called a Green Meadow Preserve, but actually what it was a plantation that was actually owned by the Green family. They occupied this piece of land and they grow all kind of commodity, cotton, sugarcane, potato, and they came into possession of it because they actually ran off the Native American and they took over their property. So this place here is one of the piece of property that the early settlers was able to establish their home and the way of life. It's called the Green Meadows Preserve, but it was actually a plantation. And the sign there will tell you exactly what it's depicting. So they're trying to preserve what we call a living history of what was here. So they call it a Green Meadow Preserve Community Garden that try to preserve some of the plants and stuff that the Native American grew. So I'm gonna go further into this house. It's called the Plantation House and see who actually occupied it. Here's some of the grounds of this plantation property located here in this area. So some of the grounds look like in this area here at the Green Plantation. Here's some of the garden, footage of a garden right here. It's amazing. A couple of days ago, those flowers blooming. Look at them now. I'm chilling out right here on this bench here that was dedicated to Eagle Scout Service Project, 4-park bench by Adam E. Slope, June 20th. So this chair here, it was dedicated or donated by the Boy Scout of America, and it sits right here by this community garden that grew most of the vegetables and most of the flowers that once the Native American used to survive in this particular area. They hunt, they fish, they build homes, and they live here for quite a long time as steward of the land. So this is what the grounds look like before the settlers came here. And then the builder's plantation house here. It's going to be interesting to find out who occupied that building. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to find who occupied this building here. So I want to make sure my yeah. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah. I want to make sure everything is still working so I can actually know that I've been here in this particular area called Green Meadows Preserve here in Georgia. Been a great day today. Sun is hot, shining, and we'll see what the day will bring forth as I move forward into closer understanding of this property. Yeah, my quest to understand Georgia history. This is backside of this house. I'm not sure who occupied, but I would think it was some plantation owner owned this house here. And I want to see what these kind of trees are. The Eagle Scout seed and see this tree here. So the Eagle Scout play a significant role in trying to preserve this these particular ground here at the Green Meadow Plantation. So I'm getting closer to see what this house here is about. So as soon as I find out what this house is about, I will let you know. But this is and I want to see who live in this house here. Okay, this house actually was owned by who we call. It was called the Green Bollard House. And you can see it's 5, 6, 11, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these gentlemen and family and members own this house. The Green Bollard House is an example of historical perspective in 1840 dwelling that was common on our acreage-sized farm throughout Georgia between 1840 and 1930. Construction of the house is credited to William C. Green, one of Cobb County's earliest pioneers. Green is listed in the 1840 census as the head of a household of 16. His family include Mary, his wife, their 5 children, and 9 enslaved individuals. In 1851, the Green property expanded with an addition of 400 acres. 5 enslaved people were also added to work the land and farm cotton. Originally built with only 2 rooms, the house was later expanded in 1880 with a rear addition and finished loft space to accommodate the Bollard family 10 surviving children. The Bollard would farm the property for the next 100 years, free labor for almost 200 years. The Green Bollard House saw action during the Civil War as Union and Confederate forces battled their way through Cobb County. The house served as a geographical landmark and a field hospital during the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain. The house referred to as Widow Green's in a feature on more than 1,000 maps and official record of both Union and Confederate commanders. The Green Bollard House and the land surrounding it remained in the Bollard family until the grandchildren of C.J. Bullard sold to Cobb County in 2008. The house was restored to its 1890 appearance in 2019 is now open as a museum. So we see we had 11 people live here in this house, had a fat life, and had lots of property here at the Green's house in Georgia. So I'm in my quest again to this is the entrance to this house here called the Bullard, Green Bullard house here in Georgia. The entrance to it is right here. I'm gonna walk up this ramp. I think this is a tour. The greenhouse is open for the public tour on the second Saturday of each month from 10 to noon or by appointment for a group of 10 or more. For more information, contact Kevin Hill at 770 whatever. Anyway, this is the house here, greenhouse here, Bullard House in Georgia. I live on Bullard Road. I wonder if that's they name it up. This is another angle of the house itself, of the Bullard House located here in Green Bullard House located here in Georgia. It's been restored with standing seam aluminum roof. Instead of shingle roof, they have standing seam aluminum roof. So this is the Bullard House. This is the northern entrance, and you can see it had two chimneys. This is another dimension of the house itself from this perspective, showcasing one of the chimney here on the grounds of Green Bullard House here in Georgia. Like I said earlier, I'm in my quest to understand the history of Georgia, historical past, and this happened to be a plantation house called the Green Plantation here off of Dallas Highway in Georgia. This is the main entrance of the Green Plantation home here from a side angle. And it has some interesting history here because right over there, I'm going to read exactly what a plaque said here about this place. I'm standing in front of the house itself. We call it the main entrance. I'm gonna find myself walking up on those steps just to say I've been here at the Green Bullard House off of Dallas Highway. Here are the steps leading up to the house. Here am I going home to my luxury house back in the 1800s. I have all the amenity. I have all the servants I need. I live here with my 11 children. And I really don't have to work. All I have to do is oversee my possession. I have 11 people working for me, doing all this work, and I'm raising a family, and I'm called the Bullard Green family. And I live fat. I live so fat that all of this estate was mine and it passed down to my children, but none of this estate that was actually preserved and cultivate was actually extended to the people who helped Mr. Green Bullard become wealthy. He didn't even say, well, 11 slave, one of you guys, you can buy a piece from me, because this way you grow up and this way you work. So none of them did that. And Mr. Green is no different. He was selfish. He wanted all for himself and his family. So, but eventually the family sold the property to to the Cobb County government so we can actually come in here and see the type of lifestyle they had and what it was like in the life and time of a plantation owner in Georgia. And that's what my quest today is, to find out the historical perspective of the life and time of a plantation era from a historical perspective, and what kind of life they had and how to get the wealth. Most of the wealth came from donation of land from a lottery to these particular settlers, and they move in and purchase slave, and the slave build all the houses, harvest all the crop, maintain everything, fed them, and that's the kind of life they live. So again, I'm showcasing the historical perspective of Georgia and the southern lifestyle and what it was like. But it's an interesting plaque over there called the Green Plantation. Let's see what it's about. Actually, what this plaque said, it's a depiction of a battle that was fought on this ground during the Civil War. It said Polk. I just came from a street called Polk Street. A Confederate general, Polk Corp, having held the sector centering on the Lost Mountain, June 5-9, was forced to withdraw east, leaving General W.H. Johnson Cavalry Division to hold the vacant line. Let's see what Johnson did. On the 17th, Johnson shifted his left flank east to Mud Creek. During this withdrawal, Ross Brigade, Confederate of Jackson Cavalry, fought a spirited action from the hill west of the Widow Piety M. Greenhouse, which was used as a hospital. Ross Texas Brigade held the position until forced to retreat by Haskell 2nd Division 23rd Corps Union Army, which had seized Lost Mountain that morning. So that's what this plaque here symbolized, the battle that was fought on these grounds here during the Civil War in America. This is a depiction of the house from this angle and its grounds. So we see here, this is what the house looked like. This is the back side of the house and the grounds of the house. Now, on this piece of property, you also had what we call the grounds. And the grounds is symbolic because it's well manicured today, and I guess it was manicured back then too, because those guys didn't have to manicure it. Someone else manicured it. So I'm gonna go down here and see if I can come up with what a bond type of that, during that time, what the bonds look like in this particular area here. This is what we call this place here the storage barn. This is where they store all the grains over the years for after cultivation. So this is it. This is the barn, storage barn here on these grounds of the Green Bollard Plantation. So I'm gonna go closer to the, it's called the Cherokee Garden at Green Meadows Preserve. This was Trail of Tears, Natural Historical Trail of Tears route that the Native American was supposed to walk from Georgia all the way to Oklahoma after they had to give up the possession of the property during their what we call the Forced Removal Act of Andrew Jackson. And this is what the highway look like here today of Dallas Highway. That's what it looks like today. It's all designed into asphalt. And it's all asphalt nowadays. And it's no longer dirt road. That's what it looks like today. 23-acre preserve?
Yes.
For what purpose?
There's like beautiful, have you been out on the trail?
No, I haven't been over there.
Beautiful trails and
Okay.
trails that are all natural.
Yeah.
Wonderful trails. There's a working apiary.
Okay.
It's up in the trees.
Okay.
And then there's our community garden,
Right.
historical garden.
So this is his community garden?
Yeah.
What do you grow in here?
A little bit of everything.
Like, name some plants.
Well, it depends on what you're into. There's all the native flowers.
Yeah.
And the perennial
Well,
flowers. And
What are the name of the plant, the flowers? Can you name them?
I can't, but Vicky knows a lot of them. I know those are cotton
Yeah.
jasters, abelia on the corner.
Okay. So what am I looking in front of me?
Those are zinnias.
Who?
Zinnias.
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 Oh, zinnias. Is it indigenous?
No.
They imported. And that red plant over there. See that red plant over there?
Those are mine. Those are canna lilies.
Cannibal.
Canna lilies.
Or candle lilies. Okay. Okay. So this is depicting the type of provision that the Native American plant while it was occupying Georgia, right?
Everything down at the houses.
Okay.
You go walk around.
I went down there.
Very gardens.
There's a garden there.
Yeah, and there's QR codes by all the plants. And
Okay.
You take your phone and tap on the codes.
Okay.
It brings up what they were used
Oh,
for.
I didn't know that. I didn't, because I'm busy showcasing the landscape. Okay.
It's like pretty cool to go down there and look some of that.
Okay, to bring it up. Okay, so this is a community garden, actually under the protection of the the University of Georgia and Cobb County, and this Cobb County property,
Yes.
and you guys are steward of it, and
All volunteers.
and you got a plot in here.
I have a couple.
Oh, so you plant food or flowers?
I do a little of both.
Yeah.
Because anytime you add flowers to your
So those are eggplant over there. That's your eggplant.
No, mine.
Okay, so nobody plant tomato. So most of the
there's a lot in here, but most are getting pulled now because we're changing over to fall.
Okay, so most of the people plant flowers instead of
It's like a combo.
yeah, instead of there's some pepper, red pepper. Look at them, red pepper. Oh,
You can see Vicky's bed where she is.
Yeah. She got some red pepper. Yeah, and is that worm grass? Lemongrass. Okay, lemongrass. And I like what you're doing because you know why? It's a habitat for butterflies. Butterflies have a place to come to enjoy. And that's what I like to see. Okay, Miss Georgian. Miss Georgian have you have a green thumb. Right? Okay, all right. It's a broad view of the estate itself and the house. That's what it looks like today. Yeah, that's a broad view of the estate house itself. It's what it looks like today on the grounds, these magnificent, well-maintained grounds of the green bollard plantation here in Georgia. So, getting ready to overcast, but getting ready to head back after I collect, see what's up on the other side of this place. The grounds of this community garden here, they got peach trees, they got all kind of different plants that grow here, peach trees, apple trees. So they grow them here in this ground here to symbolize nature itself. I'm gonna find myself going up into this cove here. I don't know what I'm gonna come up with. It's a cove. This is a magnificent oak tree here that's on these grounds on their Green Meadow plantation. They had all this here was their plantation. The Green Bollard family had owned this whole entire estate, and they used to cultivate it, corn and cotton. So that's how they got the wealth, by cultivating this land and producing all those beautiful amenity. I'm gonna go down and see what the plaque has to say. Up here, that it told me to go up and see. So I'm gonna go up there. So I'm standing in front of the grand oak tree. It said, our tree, the southern red oak. Southern red oak is widely distributed throughout the state. It is a large and handsome shade tree with attractive shape. Acorns are small and but numerous, taking 2 years to ripen after flourishing. The large leaves are glossy and variable in shape in terms of size and numbers of lobes. Fall colors is somewhat reddish, but not always. These leaves would have already fallen by now, but they shall be all over the ground for those looking to identify a particular tree. These are the leaves here, and this is the actually grand oak tree here. So you have the winter, you have the fall, the spring, and the depiction here. Go ahead. Depiction here of this monument here called the Red Oak of Georgia. So we enjoying all this beauty here in Georgia. I'm gonna find myself underneath this great grand oak tree here. Tie the ribbon around the oak tree. It was a song said, tie the ribbon around the great old yellow ribbon around the oak tree. And if you still love me, it will be there. So I'm coming home. I'm coming home because I've been gone for a while, but I want to know if you still love me. So all I want you to do for me is tie a ribbon around, yellow ribbon around the oak tree. And if I drive by there and I saw this yellow ribbon, I know you're still mine. So lo and behold, I drive up the street, what I saw? A bunch of yellow ribbon tied around the great oak tree. Right there and then, I know I had a true love who loved me and who had waited for me for all those years. So tie the ribbon around a great oak tree. It's a song that depicted in some song I heard way back in the day. And it's a favorite song of a love song. As you know, I love big trees. This one is so big. It's called the Red Oak of Georgia. And you come out and hang out underneath of it. And these benches here are symbolic because people come and hang out underneath this tree. It's called a red oak tree. and the Green Meadows Preserve. So these benches here was actually designated and set up for people to come and hang out. So I'm gonna turn my camera around of the great old field, and you can walk through this big field right there they have down there if you're so interested. Today I walked the whole compound that I can videotape, but I'm not gonna walk the field itself today. I'm gonna just try to capture the bench and the area. Yeah, this is a tree. And I'm gonna come all the way down to the bench itself right there. So this is a depiction of the great oak tree here in Georgia. I'm having fun because these are some beautiful areas that you can come and check out as you travel through this beautiful place called Georgia. So again, I'm in my quest to understand the historical perspective of Georgia, and this is one of the natural perspectives of Georgia. A great oak tree here in Georgia. It's called a red oak. And most people come and capture this scene and put it on the internet because every season it looks different. In the fall, it turns red. In the springtime, it turns green. In the winter, it's just dormant, but it has a particular look to it. So we're now approaching the fall. The leaves is not ready to fall off yet, but I'm happen to be underneath this great grand red oak tree in Georgia. And I'm gonna try to capture some of the vegetation they call yellow daisy around this area. Again, I'm in a quest to understand the history of Georgia. Here are some of the flowers, wildflowers of Georgia. It's called the yellow daisy. The yellow daisy. And I'm gonna bring you up one that has a bee in it and show you what it looks like. This is the yellow daisy of Georgia. Right here, the yellow daisy. There is it in my picture. Anyway, this is where my story ends. Underneath the great oak tree in Georgia.